I want to start today by pointing out a fact that is, honestly, a little wild,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe even a bit unsettling to think about. You have spent your entire life looking at a face that no one else in the world has ever seen.
It really is wild when you sit with it for a second.
Right. Like, not your family, not your closest friends, literally nobody. Every single time you have ever looked in a mirror, you have been staring at an imposter.
It is quite the paradigm shift when you really let the mechanics of that sink in. I mean, we build our entire concept of who we are around this image.
Yeah.
Our whole visual identity is based on something that is fundamentally unique to us, but structurally incorrect.
Exactly. So we are on a mission today to completely shatter the illusion of your everyday self-perception.
We really
We're
are.
doing a deep dive into a stack of research centered around the concepts in a piece called The True Mirror and the Twin Flame Reflection.
Such fascinating source text.
It really is. We're going to dive into the literal physics of mirrors, the spiritual concept of the twin flame, and, how the face you think is yours is actually a mathematical error. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
To understand why you have never actually seen your own face, we have to look at the everyday mirror compared to reality.
Right, because we treat mirrors as these objective truth tellers. You look in the bathroom mirror in the morning, or you catch your reflection in a shop window, and the automatic assumption is just, that is me.
Oh, 100%. You don't even question it.
Never. But the literal physics of a regular flat mirror dictate that it creates a laterally reversed image. It flips you.
See, I always thought of it as like a left-to-right flip. But reading through the physics of it for this deep dive, it's actually a front-to-back reversal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Think about how a mirror actually works. Light particles, photons, they bounce off your face, hit the flat surface of the glass, and bounce straight back to your eyes.
Okay, so it's a direct bounce.
Exactly. It is essentially pulling you inside out, front to back. The best way to visualize it is with a glove.
Oh, right, the glove analogy.
Yeah, if you take a right-handed glove and pull it inside out, front to back, it literally becomes a left-handed glove.
Right.
That is exactly what the flat mirror is doing to your face.
That is so weird to think about.
But because humans are relatively symmetrical, our brains interpret that front-to-back inversion as a left-to-right lateral flip.
Which means the face staring back at you is fundamentally misaligned with reality.
Precisely.
The asymmetry of your features, the slight droop of one eyelid, the way your smile pulls a little more to one side, even the part in your hair.
Yep, it's all on the wrong side.
It is all on the wrong side. The people in your life, your mother, your partner, your friends, even just random people passing you on the subway, they all know your true face in a way you never, ever have.
They are interacting with the unflipped you.
Which is just crazy. You're walking around the world with one face, but the mental map you have of yourself is built on a lateral error.
And you have spent decades believing this reversed image was you.
The decades.
But there is a perceptual tool out there, a specific piece of technology that actually fixes this glitch. It's called the True Mirror.
Which, sounds like a magical artifact from a fantasy novel.
It really does, but it is just incredibly precise geometry. It's essentially two flat mirrors placed edge to edge at a perfect, seamless 90-degree angle to each other.
So just two mirrors touching at a right angle.
Exactly. And the physics change entirely with that simple 90-degree adjustment.
Because the light bounces differently.
Right. When you look into that specific configuration, the light doesn't just bounce straight back at you anymore. A photon bounces off your face, hits the left mirror, reflects over to the right mirror, and then bounces back to your eye.
Wow. So it is a double bounce.
Yes. That double bounce cancels out the initial reversal. It basically unflips the flip.
So you finally see yourself exactly as others see you. You are looking at your actual objective face in real time.
What's fascinating here is the psychological reaction people have when they look into a true mirror for the very first time.
Oh, I bet it's intense.
It is wild. They look at this unflipped version of themselves, and their immediate visceral reaction is that something is deeply wrong. They feel physically disoriented.
Well, the best analogy I could come up with for that specific type of disorientation is hearing your own voice played back on an audio recording.
Oh, that is a perfect comparison.
You know how the first time you hear a recording of yourself, you just cringe?
Yeah.
You think, wait, is it really what I sound like? That's so high-pitched. Or like, that's so nasal.
Because your whole life you've been hearing your voice from inside your own skull.
Right.
The sound waves are traveling through the dense bone of your jaw and cranium, which acts as an acoustic filter. It dampens the higher frequencies and makes your voice sound richer and deeper to you.
So the audio recording is actually the objective truth of your voice out in the open air. But to you, because it breaks your internal pattern, it sounds like an imposter. The true mirror is just the visual equivalent of the audio recording.
But applied to the very core of your visual identity, it forces a confrontation with the fact that we base our entire concept of who we are, our self-narrative, on a systemic error.
We are building our identity on a glitch.
We really are.
And what's unsettling isn't just that the face is wrong, it's how we interact with it. Because if the face in the regular mirror isn't actually us, then who is the person in the glass?
That is the big question.
If you look at the mechanics of staring into a mirror, it behaves exactly like the metaphysical concept of a twin flame.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar with contemporary metaphysical frameworks, the concept of the twin flame is essentially the idea of a mirror soul.
A mirror soul, I love that phrase.
It goes all the way back to ancient ideas of a complementary opposite. It's someone who reflects you back to yourself most completely.
Someone whose very presence activates a deep recognition inside you that absolutely nothing else can touch.
Right. And when you lay that definition over the literal structure of how a mirror works, the alignment is eerie.
It is. Because the reflection in a flat mirror always faces you. It moves exactly when you move, in perfect synchronicity.
It looks you right in the eyes with the exact same intensity that you are giving it. But it is your exact inverse. It's a perfect opposing symmetry.
But there is a haunting physical limitation to this dynamic, right? Think about standing in front of your bathroom mirror.
Oh, the barrier of the glass.
Yes. You can reach out, and the reflection reaches back toward you, mirroring your longing. But when you press your hand to the glass, you feel nothing but a cold surface.
The closeness is absolute. It is a perfect visual intimacy.
But the touch never actually lands. You can never get behind it. You can never see it in profile or like hold its hand. It only ever shows you one face, always oriented toward you, separated by this unbridgeable distance.
It is incredibly tragic when you frame it that way.
I have to admit, though, I'm struggling a bit with this twin flame idea. It feels like a beautiful poetic metaphor. But is it just poetry? I mean, is my brain actually registering the reflection as a separate entity, or do I just consciously know it's a piece of glass bouncing light?
Well, you would think your conscious mind is in full control of that interaction. You know it's glass. You know it's a reflection.
Right.
But the neurological data and psychological studies on mirror perception show something brilliant and entirely unconscious happening.
Really?
Yeah. Because human faces are intrinsically asymmetrical, when you look in the flat mirror, your brain's facial recognition software detects that the asymmetry is backward compared to reality.
Oh, wow.
It triggers a subtle uncanny valley effect.
Wait, so my brain actually knows something is off even if I don't consciously realize it?
Exactly. Your conscious mind overrides the instinct and says, oh, of course that's me. But the underlying cognitive unease is still there.
That is wild.
Your brain unconsciously registers the image as almost me, but not me. It registers the image as an other.
Which explains so much. The source material noted that people often feel their mirror image looks slightly more beautiful, or slightly more tragic, or just strangely compelling.
Yes, in a way they can never quite articulate. It's because you are looking at something that is nearly you, but organized in the completely opposite direction. You are subconsciously interacting with a separate entity.
Which means we have been having a twin flame encounter every single day of our lives since we were, old enough to stand on a step stool in front of the bathroom sink.
That is exactly what it means.
We've been having this intense, unresolvable interaction with a complementary opposite, an imposter who looks just like us, and we have mistakenly been calling it self-knowledge.
We think we are looking at ourselves, but we are actually locked in a staring contest with our twin.
And since this illusion of the inverted twin has been happening literally since the invention of flat reflections like polished obsidian, still water, silvered glass, it completely changes the meaning of our oldest cultural stories about self-image.
It completely rewrites them.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's revisit the myth of Narcissus.
Oh, the foundational Western myth of vanity and obsession.
Exactly. The standard reading of that myth, the one we are all taught in grade school, is that Narcissus is a beautiful hunter who stops for a drink, leans over a perfectly still pool of water, sees his own reflection, and is so incredibly vain that he falls in love with himself.
Right, he just wastes away staring at his own beauty.
But applying the mechanics we just talked about offers a radical, paradigm-shifting new reading of the myth. Narcissus didn't fall in love with himself.
No, he didn't.
He fell in love with an image he believes was himself, but was actually his reverse twin flame.
Because the surface of the water acts as a standard flat mirror, the reversal is the entire point of the story, even if historians and artists haven't historically framed it that way.
It makes the story so much more tragic. Narcissus wasn't some insufferable egomaniac. He was just a victim of bad perceptual technology.
That is a great way to put it.
Think about the mechanics of the scene. He is looking into the water, reaching forward with this intense longing to connect, and this beautiful twin is reaching back up through the surface with the exact same intensity.
They are perfectly mirroring each other's gestures.
Yes, but every time he tries to touch the twin, the water ripples, the image shatters, and he just feels cold water.
And crucially, he doesn't recognize the twin as a separate, inverted entity because no one had ever told him what his actual face looked like.
Because there were no true mirrors in ancient Greece.
Right. He had no baseline for his own true appearance, no unflipped reality to compare the reflection against. He was entirely trapped in the glitch.
He literally starves to death trying to cross an uncrossable visual bridge. But what's really striking is how this applies to us right now.
Oh, absolutely.
The tragedy of Narcissus isn't just a cautionary tale about a mythological figure in a forest. It is the default condition of modern human beings, scaled up by technology.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, just look at how we interact with our smartphones. We are enacting the Narcissus dynamic hundreds of times a day.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Think about the front-facing camera on your phone. Software developers specifically program the front-facing camera to act as a flat mirror.
So it flips the image on purpose.
Yes. It shows you the laterally reversed glitch, the twin, because that is the familiar image you are comfortable seeing.
But the back-facing camera on your phone, the one other people use to take pictures of you, captures reality. It captures the unflipped you, the true mirror you.
Which perfectly explains the modern phenomenon of people hating tagged photos of themselves on social media.
I feel so seen right now.
Right. You look in your front-facing selfie camera, you see the familiar twin, and you think you look great. Then your friend takes a picture of you with the back-facing camera, they post it, and you are horrified.
You think, wait, is my nose really crooked like that? Is my smile that lopsided?
You are experiencing the exact same cognitive dissonance as looking into a physical true mirror. You are seeing the objective truth of your face, but because you are so deeply bonded with the reverse twin flame, the truth feels ugly and wrong.
So we're constantly longing for connection with an image that can never offer true self-knowledge because it is structurally inverted.
Exactly. We curate our lives, apply filters, and analyze our expressions based on the twin. It is a completely closed loop of misrecognition.
So how do we break the illusion? Because if flat mirrors trap us in this tragic, narcissistic twin flame dynamic, and true mirrors are rare pieces of specialized geometry that most of us don't have hanging in our hallways, how are we supposed to reliably know who we are?
The only real way out is to abandon images entirely.
Okay, abandon images.
Yeah, we have to move into a different way of knowing what the research refers to as the somatic correction. We have to rely on the epistemology of the body.
Which means knowing yourself from the inside out rather than trying to verify your existence from the outside in.
Precisely. The body's self-knowledge doesn't require a reflection to exist. It doesn't need a mirror or a screen or a camera lens to confirm its reality. It relies on a neurological mechanism called proprioception.
I want to make this concrete for you listening right now. Let's actually test this.
Good idea.
If you aren't driving, and if it is safe for you to do so, just close your eyes for a second. Without looking at anything, feel the weight of your hands resting in your lap or against your sides.
Notice the rise and fall of your chest as you take a breath.
Feel the temperature of the air against the skin of your face. Notice that in this state, purely feeling your body from within, there is no left versus right inversion.
None at all.
There is no flat surface. There is no reflection. It is just direct, unfiltered truth.
Huh.
You know yourself as the three-dimensional volume that is actually occupying space.
The neuroscience behind what you were experiencing in that moment is fascinating. Your brain has a specialized area called the somatosensory cortex.
Okay, the somatosensory cortex.
Yes. Without a single photon of light entering your eyes, your nervous system is constantly sending signals from muscle spindles, mechanoreceptors in your skin, and the vestibular system in your inner ear. directly to your brain.
So it's building a picture without vision.
Exactly. It is continuously rendering a highly accurate 3D internal map of your physical form.
It's mapping the territory from the inside rather than just taking a Polaroid of the surface.
And that neurological reality is why somatic knowing is structurally so much more reliable than image-based knowing. Any visual image, by its very physical nature, can only ever give you a two-dimensional surface.
Right.
And in the case of a regular mirror, it gives you a reversed surface, the mirror body, the twin flame, whose inverted features you have spent a lifetime memorizing and scrutinizing.
But the interior somatic sense gives you the true self. It gives you the thing itself from inside its own existence.
Beautifully put.
The true self is always already present, humming along, digesting, breathing, sensing, and has never once needed a reflection to be real.
The visual twin flame is the one trapped in the glass, subject to lighting and angles and lateral errors. You are the one who is always already here, moving through the world with a face you can never fully see, but a body you can entirely inhabit.
So what does this all mean? Let's bring this journey full circle. We have mapped out the literal physics of the flat mirror, discovering that the light bouncing back at us is front-to-back reversed, handing us an asymmetrical twin flame rather than our actual face.
You really covered a lot of ground.
We've explored how this physical glitch rewrites the tragic myth of Narcissus, changing him from a symbol of ego to a victim of perceptual illusion, a trap we fall into every time we open our front-facing cameras.
Every single day.
And we've seen how true self-knowledge requires a shift in technology, either finding a 90-degree true mirror to resolve the visual inversion, or, more profoundly, tapping into our somatosensory cortex and trusting our body's internal proprioception over our visual reflections entirely.
This raises an important question, one with massive cultural implications. What does it mean that we have built entire cultures of self-perception based on a glitch?
It's wild to think about.
We have constructed entire psychologies of identity, of self-esteem, of body relationship entirely on a reversed image. When you stand in front of the mirror and scrutinize your flaws, when you judge your appearance harshly, you aren't even judging yourself.
You are judging the imposter.
Exactly. What immense amount of energy has been lost or distorted in that gap between the twin face in the mirror and the true face moving through the physical world?
It makes you wonder how much unnecessary suffering we put ourselves through, criticizing a face that isn't even the one our loved ones interact with. And that brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with today, something for you to chew on as you go about your week.
Let's hear it.
If you were to somehow get your hands on a true mirror, and you installed it in your home tomorrow, letting it permanently resolve that lifelong inversion, how would it reorganize your relationships with other people?
Oh, that is a profound thought.
Right. If you could finally look into a glass and make actual eye contact with the exact same face that the rest of the world has been reacting to your whole life, the face your friends and family actually see, would you be more forgiving of yourself?
I think you would have to be.
Knowing that the twin you have been so harshly judging all these years was never actually you to begin with. You've spent your entire life looking at a stranger. Maybe it's time to finally meet yourself.